There are times where you're going to need to lie to your recruiter. Look, I've been in recruitment for 15 years, but the following things, these are things you should never tell a recruiter. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing you need to never tell a recruiter is that the job they have talked to you about, the job you've communicated with them about, the job you're interviewing for because, they presented you to a hiring manager, never tell them it is second, third, or fourth on your list, right? If you're interviewing with multiple different opportunities, which is totally fine, by the way, you never want to tell them that their job is anything else than your top priority, or that they're all even, right? Like, oh yeah, they're all pretty good. I would say that all of them are, really good. I don't know if I have a first or second or third. I haven't ranked them like that. All of that is fine. But if you tell a recruiter that the job you are interviewing for on behalf of them is your third priority, you will immediately become like their a billionth priority. They will get other candidates in front of you. They will tell the hiring manager that, this candidate, they've got some other jobs that I think they're more likely to accept, so I think you should focus on these other candidates. The next thing you never want to tell a recruiter is that you are desperate from a financial perspective when it comes to salary. You never want to tell them, look, I know the salary range is 70 to 90, but I'd be willing to accept 60 because I am really desperate here. The reality is that information can be used by the recruiter to try to get the deal done. And they might come back to you now with a lower offer. The company might have been thinking about offering you 75, 80, 85, 90, maybe the top of the range 90, but the recruiter is going to be candid. They work for the company. They don't work for you, okay? That's how the system works. So if you tell the recruiter that you are desperate, you'd be willing to accept a lesser offer, the odds of you getting a lesser offer go up like 1,000,000,000%. So never share any sort of desperation around trying to get the job or desperation around the salary because it will not help you. Hey, do you want to know what will help you? What will help you is becoming the best candidate possible. And if you want to become like a top 5% candidate in the world, what I want you to do is go down into the description box, that top link, that is my full interview prep guide. Now that guide has a ton of helpful things. It has video tutorials that are going to help you learn how to handle the most challenging interview questions. It has different exercises that are going to help you craft stories that set you apart as a top candidate, and it has different materials that you can use to interface with hiring managers. It has specific scripts and it has specific email messages you can send them to help move you through the process quicker. And it's cheaper than getting Starbucks every day for a week. Another thing you never want to share is if you are currently having conflict with your current employer, right? You might think, I'm talking to a recruiter. This is a safe space. We're in the circle of trust. It's okay if I say to them, hey, the reason I'm talking to you is because I decided I really hate my boss. And the other day, I told him, I don't love working for you. I hate it here and I'm going to look for a new job, right? By the way, never do that. Just go look for a new job. Don't tell them you hate it here. Just look for a new job. You don't have to tell them. But don't tell the recruiter that. You don't want to let the recruiter know anything negative because they might go and tell the hiring manager that exact story, verbatim. I am not kidding. If you say, you know what, the reason I'm looking is because I hate my boss, my team sucks, none of them really work hard, I'm the only one who does anything around here. They will literally go and tell that to the hiring manager. They'll go, hey, this candidate is submitted to you. I think they're pretty good. I do have some concerns about will they fit into your team. Let me tell you what they told me. They will share that. Never tell that to a recruiter. Okay, similar thing here. Never share negative thoughts about past employers. You never want to say, the reason I'm in my current job is because the one before this, my boss was a real idiot, right? You don't want to do that. It's similar. Negativity never serves you. You might think it's a safe space because it's a recruiter, but do not tell them anything negative about any employer, any bosses, any teammate. It doesn't help you. Personal problems. If you're having personal problems, like personal problems at home, with a friend, money problems, anything, do not tell the recruiter. You're probably saying, well, of course, Ben, I would never tell my recruiter that. Yeah, thank you, but many people do. I've been in recruitment for 15 years. You'd be surprised how many times I've heard something and I'm like, I cannot believe they are telling me that. Now, the reason why I share this is because at the end of the day, I think as a candidate, you only want to do things that are going to help you. You don't want to do anything that is going to hurt you, and you certainly won't want to do anything that is indifferent, right? You only want to do things that are going to help you, that are in your best interest. This is not in your best interest, so just don't do it. The next thing you don't want to tell a recruiter is if you have plans to job hop. And what I mean by that is if you look at a role and you go, you know what? Where I want to be is here. And this is a great stepping stone to get there. The reason you don't want to do that is because, again, you don't want them communicating this to the hiring manager. At the end of the day, recruiters, it's really important that we build relationships with hiring managers. We want them to use us for their hiring needs again and again and again. And the way we do this is by building good relationships and delivering great candidates who stay for a long time. So if you tell them that you're probably going to leave shortly, well, that jeopardizes the relationship with that hiring manager. And that puts your candidacy at risk because they are now going to prioritize other candidates over you who they feel have a greater likelihood of staying in that role for longer. So if you plan on using a role as a stepping stone, do not tell the recruiter. Never tell the recruiter if you have like some level of disinterest in a role, right? So if they send you a role and you're like, yeah, I really don't want to be doing this, but it is a good company and yeah, I still think I'm interested. They immediately will be concerned that you are going to turn down the offer if you get it. That's how our brain works. Recruiters, we experience a lot of trauma in the day-to-day, right? We've had so many candidates back out of the process, ghost us, say they're interested in a role and decide, yeah, never mind, I'm not interested in the role. I have had so many candidates get to the final offer, get an offer, I thought they were going to accept, and then they decide, yeah, never mind, I'm not going to accept this role. So as a result of that, we are always watching to look for some of the signs we've seen in the past that help us identify, is this candidate going to turn down the offer? And disinterest is absolutely amongst them. So if you let the recruiter know that there are components of the role you are not interested in, and it's just an okay role, they're going to put their attention and emphasis and focus towards other candidates who seem interested in the role and they feel have a greater likelihood of accepting that role. If you have uncertainty about your career, you're not sure where you want to take it, you're like, maybe I want to switch careers, maybe I want to go do this, don't tell that to the recruiter because again, it's going to make the recruiter feel like if this person gets hired by my client, it is definitely a possibility that they leave and completely exit the field and go do something else because they are literally telling me this. Again, you'll be deprioritized as a candidate because they're going to want to focus on candidates they feel are more likely to stay with the client for the long term. Speaking of turning down an offer, if you turn down an offer, do you think that company will blacklist you and never interview you again? Somebody asked me that question and it's a really great question. In fact, it's such a great question, I made this video about it. So if you're curious at all about that question, you should go watch this video now. I'll see you over there.